Hey everybody, it's Andy from Sold by Auctions. I hope you're all well, and I'm so glad you've tuned in to the next installment of our Sold by interview series. And wow, am I proud to have the queen of mindset and leadership coaching, Tanja Jones. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. I don't know about queen of mindset, but humble servant, let's put it that way.
You're too humble. You're way too humble. Now, look, for those that are tuning in that aren't aware of who you are, which there'll probably only be about 2 or 3, but give us a quick sort of 60 seconds on who you are, where you've come from, and why you do what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a leadership and mindset specialist. My ideal clients are real estate, general managers, CEOs, managing directors that would really love up to 40% more time to grow their people in their business. Andy, some research I've done with CoreLogic shows that many leaders are spending 80% of their time navigating the people, performance and productivity issues within real estate, which means they're not out there recruiting and delivering their strategies and getting the market share they desire. So that's what I do and why I do it. A couple of years ago, I was just a vendor that got really average service from a number of agents, and it just had me inquire into, this is a significant transaction, and I just felt that perhaps I could be of service and help agents just elevate their ability to connect and really be of service, and then ultimately, partner the sale of people's biggest assets. So here I am still, 2.5 years in and learning lots every day and loving every minute of it.
I tell you what, guys, if you haven't had a chance to go to anything that Tanja's involved in, I implore you to find an event where Tanja's speaking and get to it. She's, in terms of engagement, you won't find many speakers, and we've all been and seen a whole heap of speakers, but there's not many that engage with you on such an authentic level, which is fantastic. So, from personal experience, I highly recommend you go see Tanja. Now, the way it works, Tanja, we've got 2 questions that we answer in sort of a rapid fire sort of thing. This whole Sold by interview series, guys, for those of you who don't know, is so that you can have some value, so you can gain some value whilst having the kettle on, whilst having a bit of a cup of tea and a 5-minute break in between your appointments, or if you're just chilling out, having had your dinner and you want to just take something in that doesn't take too much effort. So Tanja, are you ready?
Ready.
Awesome. Okie dokie. So question 1, how important is mindset? How important is the whole topic of mindset in an industry like real estate? I mean, from your perspective, how much focus should we be putting on this whole topic of mindset?
Okay, so, if you ask John McGrath, he'll say real estate is 90% mindset and 10% skill. And I think that's true. And I also think it's not exclusive just to this industry. From a macro perspective, Andy, the value of residential real estate is $17 trillion. It sees around 120,000 people employed. Around 90,000 of those are real estate agents. And those 90,000, the majority leave within their first year of starting. And I really do believe it's because of the mindset. Why mindset? Well, if you look at it, Andy, as human beings, we crave and we are hardwired for certainty, security, instant validation, and instant gratification. Now, the industry is completely counterintuitive to that, because when you enter the industry, it's and if you're in it, it's highly competitive. It's a world of rejection. You're going to get knocked back in node every single day. You earn commission. You get paid maybe 3 months or more after you make a sale. And it is currently, and has for the past 4 years, been ranked the 3rd least trusted profession according to the Roy Morgan research of the image of trusted professions. And it's been that way for 4 years. So, Andy, people aren't running down the street going, yeah, you're a real estate agent, come and have a cuppa with me, unfortunately. So why is it important? Well, I believe people enter this industry, Andy, because they do want to create a great lifestyle. The average Australian earns $79,000 a year. You can do that in a number of transactions depending on the marketplace you're in and the demographic you serve. So if you want to succeed in this game, in a counterintuitive environment, 90% of what matters is what goes on up here. What you tell yourself, the decisions you make, the actions you take will all influence the results that you produce.
I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head, because the bread and butter basics of getting yourself into the game and actually making a success of it they're not too variable. You know, there aren't too many variants on what you actually need to physically do in order to be a success in this industry. And that's why, guys, when you go to so many seminars and teaching sessions, coaching sessions and whatnot, and a lot of it's very, very similar, just wrapped very, very differently. So what is it that you think is the difference between the great, the good, the average, and the bad? It's not the physical activities.
Yeah, well, and I think you're right, Andy. There's no shortage of great training, nationally and internationally, for this industry. I don't think I've ever seen an industry that's more hungry for learning and development. However, you know, it's very common that come the end of the training, and I've done this before too, you know, we fill our notebooks full of, you know, actions, and our, you know, inspirational pilot light is temporarily lit. But as soon as we close the book and leave at 4:30 or 5 o'clock and the phone rings, we're just back in the vortex of life. And many of us never even pick up that notebook ever again. We never go back and look at it. So what do I think makes a difference between the great, the good, and the not so flash? You know, I really love to simplify it, Andy, and I love replicating. I love replicating because time equals money. So why reinvent the wheel? So a structure that I use as a coach and invite everyone to adopt is the 3 steps for success. Those that are great have, number one, really clear standards. They know their why, they know their values, because if you don't know where you stand, you'll fall for anything. They have a really clear picture of their financial game plan and where they're going, and they turn their shoulds into musts. Many of us go, well, I should get up at 5 and I should eat clean and I shouldn't have that second glass or bottle of wine and I should prospect for 2 hours a day and I should, but many of us don't. The greats know their musts and they master their musts, number one. Number two, strategies. Simplify your strategies. Have a few things that you do consistently. So agents that, you know, and I'm talking typically to agents, but leaders, agents, property managers, auctioneers, admin and support staff that have an ideal week, that have rituals that you do every day, where you know what you need to do at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday versus 4 o'clock on a Friday, and it's just paint by numbers. You don't have to think about it. So simple strategies is the second step. And then the third step is elevate your states. And this is really where the mindset stuff comes in. You must have a daily ritual or a practice. The one I highly recommend is the Morning Miracle, which is a book by Hal Elrod. And there's an acronym in there, SAVERS, which is a strategy to start your day powerfully. The most successful people in the industry and also globally do this work. And it's all about elevating your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state. So you can be in peak state and not let what happens to you affect who you are, and not let a bad moment become a bad day or a bad year. The greats have clear standards, have simple strategies they follow consistently, and they actively start their day in peak state. And those that don't produce the same results that those that do.
Well, keeping it simple is, I mean, it's a mantra for my entire life because I can't do much else anyway. But it is so true. So many professionals, whether it's real estate or not, so many professionals, they just they're trying so desperately to find another way to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's fine. It works pretty well, you know.
I'll be really honest around that. Often why we do that is it's our ego that gets in the way. You know, for guys, it's our he-go, and for us ladies, it's our she-go, and we all have one. But if we're trying to reinvent the wheel, we're more addicted to the consider, we may be more addicted or interested in the accolades of the idea. Successful people don't spend time trying to reinvent the wheel, unless they're a profound inventor and going to, create the light bulb. Successful people understand and know the value of time. They look for masters, they model the masters, and they replicate. So if you're an agent, you want to make 250, go and find someone that's making 250 easily, or 350 too. Same if you want to make 650 or 850. But it's our ego that complicates stuff, and our ego just likes to sabotage our success, so it makes things confused and foggy.
Couldn't agree more. I think there's plenty of people in the industry and in corporate land, full stop, that I think could take that on board for sure. Now, talking about authenticity, a point that you touched on before, sort of segues us into the next question quite nicely, and we're going geek now, so we're going into auctioneering talk for a little bit, but more so, you can probably relate this to public speaking in general, and this is something that I know from experience that you're extremely good at. So second question, how can auctioneers increase their authenticity when communicating to their audience?
I love this topic, because people buy people, not products. So for all of you that are listening, they don't buy your brand, they don't buy your logo, they don't buy the suit you're wearing, your sexy collateral. They buy you. So how you show up really determines how successful you are. So authenticity is everything. And if you do look at the CoreLogic research of perceptions from buyers and vendors, the two major things that the public want from particularly real estate agents is trust and transparency. The only way you can show up trustworthy and transparent is to be authentic. So it's a big word. We hear it tossed around like confetti, much like the word disruption. What does it actually mean, and how can you get into it? Is that what you want to know?
Bang on.
Bang on. All right. Authentic is just being real, being authentically you, right? So, people can smell it when you're trying to be someone else. We talked before about model the masters and replicate, success. Replicate their strategy, but don't try to be somebody else, because otherwise you're going to be incongruent with who you are. So you've got to be real and authentic for you. And, Tom Panos talks about this a lot. He authentically is passionate. He uses colorful language. He's going to, he's got a huge following, people that love him. And then there's people that don't like swearing, but he's never going to modify who he is to try and convert the people that don't. Just be authentically you. That's one thing. How do you get into a space of authenticity so you can build trust and transparency? Certainly, as an auctioneer, there's three simple processes I like to explore. Presence is one. People can feel when you're not with them. True?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Whether you're on the phone or thinking about, the listing you lost or whatever it is. So you need to practice presence. And how you practice presence is you've got to quieten down the subconscious mind that is always noisy and trying to resolve tension. So if you were driving to call an auction, and here's my invitation of what you would do, you would just unpack your mind. You'd ask yourself, what am I thinking? And you would just get it off your mind, anything that you're thinking. How do you feel? If you feel nervous, you say, I feel nervous. If you feel insecure, I feel insecure. If you feel inspired or excited, you're like, yeah, I feel inspired or excited. And then the third thing you want to acknowledge is, how's your body feeling? So this is because our body holds on to tension and stress, and that will make us not present. That will impact our level of authenticity. What it impacts is our level of being really over there with others. And when you're standing in front of a crowd, and you're responsible for eliciting activity and inspiring the highest value for the home you have the honor and responsibility to sell, you've got to be over there in other people's worlds. So another way to step into authenticity is, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about us. It's about the people that we're there to serve. We're representing the vendor, and we're standing in the future of what's possible for someone in that crowd to buy that dream, buy that first home, or buy that investment. So we need to show up present. We need to be purposeful. meaning when you're standing there, not about you, it's about the intention you're trying to fulfill. And we need to have a level of passion. This is an energy game. One of the things, Andy, that I think is a real opportunity for auctioneers and agents and us as human beings, let alone what role you play, is owning our value. If we don't own our worth and our value, how can we articulate the highest value or elicit great engagement with the purchase of the highest value of that home if we don't know who we are and if we don't love who we are? So authenticity comes from being present to our own greatness, humbly owning our value, and passionately losing ourselves and being of service to those we have the honor and the privilege to serve.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
short answer, was it? I'm sorry.
I just got measured. I just got completely like, yeah, that was just unbelievable. Stuff to 2 minutes. That was just a few minutes of absolute gold, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, observations from that, from my point of view. Whenever you go and watch auctions, and you know, as the geek that I am, I go and have a real good watch of a few different people and what have you. You know which ones instantly turn you on and which ones instantly turn you off. And generally it comes down to someone with their chest out in a Versace suit that thinks that that's all they need in order to engage an audience, and a big mouth. But generally, it doesn't work like that. I was chatting to Will Hampson, who runs My Auctioneer with Kate Lumby up in Sydney, and we were talking about the whole thing of conversational auctioneering, and I think what he's alluding to with that is exactly what you just said. At the end of the day, all we are as auctioneers are a gateway. We are facilitators to allow people to make the next big step in their lives, and if we allow our own persona, attitude, and ego get in the way, you instantly see the body language in buyers. You see it. You see them just disengage with the property or start talking about the next one that they're going to go to in an hour's time. So that is just absolute gold. And anybody that's watching, I've seen a couple of comments here from people that are in the sports industry as well, or in the leisure industry. It's so, this information, this knowledge, and this advice completely transfers over to any industry whatsoever. And beyond that, it transfers to your relationships generally. This is how the world works. So that was just absolute gold. And if you didn't get it all, watch it again, because what you just said then, Tanja, was absolutely brilliant. Look, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. Have you got any sort of last thoughts or messages that you want to say to everyone?
Yeah, I would just, like to invite people to come from the premise that I and all of us are really working with the best intentions. No one is trying to not authentically engage. We don't actively try to sabotage our success, but there are things that you can learn to increase your level of authenticity and increase your level of engagement. And there's nothing wrong with wearing a fabulous Versace suit. Nothing wrong with that at all. However, what matters is, are you someone focused on selling, or are you standing there of being of service? And if you're not sure, then there's perhaps some learning that you could do to elevate your state to really be someone of service. And secondly, inside of the theme of mindfulness, and it is a hot topic, would it be okay if I just gave a little mention to Revive, the event that's coming up?
Yeah.
So it is an event, a first of its kind wellbeing and mindfulness event, particularly for the real estate industry. Jed Xavier is producing it and curated 16 plus speakers. Really, it is an opportunity to dig deep into the heart of who you are and get all the, raise your standards, simplify your strategies, and elevate your state so you can go and succeed and win the game that you're trying to win.
Amazing. Yeah, guys, get to Revive. One of my trusted friends and colleagues in the industry, who is an extremely successful saleswoman in her own right, Jo Mooney. She's going to be heading out there up to the Gold Coast, and she's going to get so much value. She's so excited. So whether you're at the start of your journey in this game, or you're a seasoned traveler, I'm absolutely certain that this is a different type of event that you're going to get a different kind of value from. So yeah, look, Tanja, and I think to go and see you, any event is probably worth the ticket and the airfare anyway. So
I'm there to learn from everybody else. The lineup is phenomenal. Top performing agents, top performing, industry experts, peak performance coaches. So, we're all students and we're all teachers. And if we have an open mind, they say a mind that is open like a parachute is always works best that way. So I'd love to see people come along and connect, and also, come and join me and learn from other, industry experts who have stuffed up a lot too, who have made a lot of mistakes, and they want to share what they've learned, so you don't have to waste the time that they unfortunately wasted. That's part of the ethos of this. Learn from each other, save a lot of time, apply what they're doing, and enjoy the results.
Fantastic. Look, we'll put a link on for the event in the description of this interview. But Tanja, for now, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We had a couple of technical difficulties as well, so thank you so much for your assistance. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Andy from Sold by Auctions, and with Tanja Jones. Take care. Watch this again, because you're going to get some value. Thanks, Tanja.
Thanks, Andy. Good job, mate. Well done.
Take care.